Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to our webinar where we're going to be meeting with Casey from Groovin Gourmet. We're so excited to chat with her. We're going to give everybody just a minute or two to join. So go ahead and grab your pen and paper, your production documents, whatever it is that you need. Go ahead and grab that as we take just a moment, let people jump in and settle in before we kick off. All right, if you're just joining us, it is me, Shannon. I'm a customer success manager here at Curate. My best thing that I love to do is onboarding with customers. So I may have onboarded with you or I will onboard with you in the future. I love working with caterers and our event professionals, helping them make some reduce the chaos in their journey. Today, we are joined by the wonderful Casey Harris. She is the director of catering at Groovin Gourmet, which is a trolley restaurant group. If I'm saying that right, trolley hospitality group.
Yeah.
She's had a lot of experience in big legacy softwares, such as like Caterers and TPP before actually landing with Curate a few years ago. So on our screen, you're going to see there's going to be a couple of things that we're going to cover today. So I think that we'll have a mix of people that are their current customers of Curate and they're wanting to see how other people are using the system. Or maybe you are yet to be a customer of Curate and you're just trying to check out how do people manage their events actually within Curate? What's like a real world example? I will say when I'm onboarding people, it's one of the number one things that they ask, like, how do people actually use this? What's the actual features that people actually use? So Casey's going to answer all of those questions today. Okay, awesome. So on our next slide, let me go ahead and flip over. So what we're going to cover today, just a brief look, is we're going to start. Casey's going to give us a little insight into her background, where she kind of came from, how she got to where she is currently with catering, and what is she doing? What is she working on in the system? We're going to talk about how she uses Curate, how these templates streamline proposal creation, some of the things that she utilizes, some of the features that she uses on a daily basis that kind of help streamline the rest of her operation, not just the single quote, but all of the pieces that kind of go into the event. We are going to deep dive into her experience with implementation, kind of her experience, go through that full flow um, of her journey that's there. And then in the end, we are going to wrap up with a live Q&A at the end. So you can kind of input all of those questions, anything that you may want to in that event. All right. So Casey, you're the woman of the hour today. I'm so excited to chat with you to kind of, we'll talk through a few things today. So why don't you go ahead and give us your background? Just kind of tell us, like, how did you get into catering and what does that journey really look like for you?
Sure. Yeah, it's been a number of years. So a long, long time ago. Started at really a small mom and pop venue, kind of got my feet wet there. using pen and paper to take orders and to hand things off to our chef, tying every chair tie, kind of just like the basics, bare bone operation. Um, from there, I was hooked, needed more. So I found myself, this was in Las Vegas, and I found myself at Mandalay Bay and jumped from little mom and pop to like huge, large scale banquet operations.
Yes.
So thousands and thousands of people. That was my first real experience with like a true uh, catering software. So we
Yeah.
used Daylight, which I don't even think exists
Wow.
anymore.
Okay.
But real huge database with everything. From there, we moved to California, Northern California. I worked at the Ritz-Carlton,
Mm-hmm.
uh, used a very similar program. So Delphi, I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with that.
Yeah.
And then found myself in an offsite high-end catering company. And we used another program there called Fusion, which again, I think has many iterations since I have used it.
Yes.
And then moved across the country for COVID after COVID times and found myself working at Taste Catering events in Virginia. And we kind of backtracked. And when I joined the team there, we were using like Word documents and copy and paste. So all of our proposals were in Word, and then we'd send out like the PDF version.
Yes.
Um,
Everybody can relate to that. I just got on a call with somebody else today and that said, how are you putting your proposals together? In Word. I'm
in
like,
Word.
still, it's 2026.
It was crazy after using all the other kind of softwares and like jumping backwards.
Yeah.
The company when I joined they had tried to use catering, so they had
Yeah.
started to build it out. But then looking at it once I got there, we kind of gutted the whole system. We started over and so built
Wow.
caterings from like the ground up. And then eventually we switched over to Curate.
Mm-hmm.
And then that company we were acquired by Groovin Gourmet, and Groovin Gourmet uses TPP. And
Mm-hmm.
so we are actually now using TPP here and Curate, and we're actually transitioning the whole company to Curate. So
Wow.
a
Oh
lot of
my
a
gosh.
lot of different things.
Yes, a lot of changes. It sounds like a short period of time, but really it's like a years of journey,
Mhm.
like kind of like going down that road. Because I know that you guys have even been making that transition with that other software with TPP for a little while now. You've been working on that transition for a little while too. So that takes some time
Yeah.
too. Um, what about before Curate? So like when you did start at like Taste VA, what were those pain points really that you were feeling with your current software, like with that operations over there? So it sounds like, and I didn't hear this before, but it sounds like you really did the full implementation actually in cateries. So
Mhm.
doing it in Curate was not your first rodeo. You had already done that experience of like from the ground up building in a software. So tell us that. Tell us like what were some of those pain points that you were feeling, even though you customized another system already? What was the pain points that you were feeling?
Sure. So I mean, a BEO, Caterers is great at putting out BEOs and
Right.
kind of, you take it for what it is, but we wanted more than that. So researched how to build out these really pretty proposals in cateries, and it just took a lot of maintenance, a lot of me, hours behind the computer mapping everything together. As soon as like you add extra space in there, you'd break the system. If our team were, put in new menu items, they would break the system. All of a sudden, our beautiful proposals that we took so long to create, the
Oh,
formatting would be thrown off and everything would be, right aligned or left aligned. The photos wouldn't match up anymore. So it was really, really difficult. The
okay.
support wasn't always there to like get us to where we want to be because we were kind of using it in a way that not a lot of other people were using the program.
Okay.
So it wasn't just straight BEOs and put together and have it
Yes.
print out on its normal template. So we were
Yes.
asking a lot more from that program, and we built it out. And so that's kind of just the upkeep. It's a full-time job, and it was
Yeah.
taking up way more time than I had to give. And the number
Okay.
of restarts, the program would crash here and there, and so it was just not working. Um,
Yes. Yes. What do you feel like? Um, I mean, it felt like you did that for a long time. What was kind of like your aha moment of like, I can't do this anymore. Like what was like the straw, the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back that led you to be like, I've got to look for another solution, you know?
I don't think it was one thing. I think that we were growing and we had this amazing clientele and we wanted to be more than what we were currently, and like just the
Okay.
upkeep, just to make sure that,
Yeah.
all of those things aligned. We needed a system that would grow with us and
Yeah.
evolve with us,
Yeah.
and catering just wasn't doing it. Like it
Okay.
took me to evolve that program and kind of tweak it in ways that it wasn't meant to work, to get it to
Yeah.
work for us. So it was
Right.
it was time for something different. I knew that I needed more time to do my real job and not to be our IT
I love
support for the
that.
team. So it
Yes.
really, watched every demo, talked to so many people, did a lot
Really.
of research. So it wasn't a quick decision to move
Yes.
on. I wanted to make sure we
Yes.
found the right program that
Yeah.
could grow with us.
Yeah. I totally see that because I mean, just from what I know of you, you are such a details person and a more you I would consider you more of like a technical person, whenever you are looking at things. I mean, like you did implement, like if you implemented caterers, that's really admirable. You really have to be really good at that stuff, you know what I mean, to kind of really get that into place. So, um, it's kind of an honor to say, okay, she picked us, she picked us out of all the ones that she looked at, because I know how in the details you are and how it really has to work in order for you to really want to move forward with it. So that's an honor, it's an honor for us. Okay. Well, in Curate, let's talk a little bit about that. So, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I know that you have something that you want to share. So, talking about Curate, what are some of like the features and the workflows that make Curate so effective for you and for your team? So, maybe if you want to share your screen and show us off a few things.
Sure.
We've talked about some templates and you might have some other stuff.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. Hopefully I'm not going to mess this one up. Okay.
It's okay.
Not that.
I
Hold
do it
please.
all the time. I do it all the time. Anytime I'm on a call with somebody and I don't have to tell them how to share their screen, I'm like, you are good. You are a
I
technical
did
person.
this earlier and it was no problem. I love how you give me all of those like
Yes.
accolades of
Well,
being
it's different.
technical and I can't even share my screen properly. We're doing great.
It's okay. Don't worry. Oh gosh.
We're doing great. I don't know why it's not letting me share this one screen I want to share.
It might
Okay.
be screen two.
Yeah, no, I think
Uh,
mm, maybe.
we're gonna try.
There we go. Okay.
You
Woo,
did it.
we
You
did
did.
it. Sorry about that.
That's okay. No.
All right. So we use templates in Curate, and this has
Yeah.
been a huge change for us because formatting was really important.
Yeah.
And the ability to put out a beautiful proposal that looks exactly the same, no matter which one of our sales coordinators is working on it, or any of our operational teams, the formatting is kind of set, and I know and I can trust that it's not going to be thrown by somebody inputting something. So we've created these templates, which are projects. And when we start a new project, we have a new client coming in, we use these as kind of the base. So depending on the type of event we're doing, we have different ones, as you can see. So we do a social template, one for our military clients, corporate, weddings, and then we have an exclusive venue, which is Chrysler Museum. So this is that template for that. So this is kind of how we do and how we work, our workflow is. So we would go up here to new project, and then we would duplicate from one of these. So we would type in here template, and then these would show up, and this is kind of how we start the project. So we would select, let's say, wedding. We would change what we want the wedding to be called right here. We'd fill out the rest of the information and then hit create. So I've
Mhm.
gone ahead and have done that
Yes.
here, so you guys can kind of see like what that looks like. I'll go into the portal view. You guys can see the screen, right?
Yes. It looks great. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So this is kind of the template that we start off with. This is what all of our sales coordinators, as soon as they start working on a wedding, this is what it looks like. So they come into this. This is how they get started. Um, And then this portal here is kind of what the client sees as well. And so it's kind of broken up, and we've set it up. I'm going to go down a little bit as a nice kind of template for everything that we want to include, so nothing is forgotten. And we have some photos that are already included. And
Yes.
oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so all of this you have like, except for maybe not the menu, not the actual hors d'oeuvres or whatever, all of that stuff is preloaded in that template. So the
Mhm.
layout with the different sections, the photos, even on that line item that's got the photos already preloaded in there, is that
Mhm.
already there on
Down
your
here.
template? Yeah, so they don't have to do anything with that. All of that's preloaded.
It is all preloaded.
Okay.
Now, let's say something on here, there's not a specific food item that the client really wants to see. We can change out these photos, and our
Yeah.
sales team have the ability to do that really, really easily.
Okay.
So it's just drag and drop right in here. So if the chef sends them a photo in their email, they can drag that photo and just drop it into one of these squares.
Mm-hmm.
So it's already kind of set up for them, and then we can remove them too. So if they're not interested in desserts, we can go and just delete out these photos right
Okay.
away. So then
Yeah.
they won't even be an option on there.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, this is beautiful. Oh my goodness. So whenever you're putting something together, your typical flow for your team is they don't actually have to really touch much on the portal itself. It's more they're hopping on the order, they're pulling in the line items that you know, or can I kind of go into that? Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. So we usually start on our order screen, which is kind of the behind the scenes. I
Yeah.
already have some things in here just so you guys can kind of see, but I'll also show you how we pull things. So these are kind of past hors d'oeuvres. What we do is we actually will offer a certain amount of hors d'oeuvres and have them select from a list.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have the option of offering certain possibilities. So you can say, hey, I want to give you these 4 hors d'oeuvres. I think they're going to be great. And then you can offer the rest of these as possibilities, which is a really awesome feature if you don't want to include them in the pricing. So we just select those, go here. We're going to change this to a possibility. And now uh, our client sees those as extra options in there, but they've not been included in their pricing, which is kind of cool. And then if they change their mind and they're like, you know what, I don't want my crab cakes, we can always just move them right down here and kind of mix and match for our clients. So it's really, really easy to use on the back end. We
You're
also
so smooth, Casey. I love it. You're doing great.
we also have it set up where and this is kind of newer to the team, where we have packages where there's certain menu items that we always offer, and we're in the middle of obviously a huge transition from one program into another as we're expanding Curate across the whole company. So changes here and there, but we import from the catalog. And if I were to go here and let's say I did this ahead of time just to be a little easy, so plated entrees. So I want to show plated entrees. I have a list of ones already kind of set. I'm going to just say add product, and you can create these kind of however you want. And it drops them all in there. So now the sales team has kind of a set, what they always like to offer based on what the clients are asking for. They can go
Yep.
ahead and click that. It's already in the proposal. And then they can adjust the quantities based on either the guest count or, if they're doing select 3 entrees, a chicken, a fish, and a beef, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
we've done the same even with rental equipment. So we do the same thing. We have um, our rental package, and this drops in all of the rentals you would need for a wedding, and they're going through and editing it based on the floor plans and things like that. So it
Amazing.
becomes really, really easy and really quickly to build a proposal once you kind of have this stuff built out.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing.
And
Yeah.
then
Good.
this is kind of like what the client would see. So as we build those things out, we have our 4 hors d'oeuvres. These are the possibilities that we selected. So they can still see them, but it's clearly stated that they're possibilities. So they're not included in the proposal, which is really cool. And then here's all of those entrees that we dropped in so they can choose. And we have a little note up here. And these are all kind of preset for us, but you can change and edit these so they say, whatever you need them to say. So we want 1 beef, 1 chicken, 1 fish. Here are your options, desserts, and then here's all of that rental equipment. So Another really cool thing is that you can have things aligned differently. So maybe we like the center aligned, so it's separate. So food and beverage are all center aligned. And then once you get down here, all of our rental equipment is left aligned because we want to show the quantity of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of flexibility in
Yes.
here. But this is
Yes.
kind of how we utilize the program.
Mm-hmm. Yes. How do you manage, and this is me off the cuff asking these questions. Hopefully that's okay, Casey. But
Yeah.
how do you manage like your pricing whenever you're giving out an original quote for them to make choices? Do you send it without pricing initially, or how do you manage that? Because I saw you pull things in that had that line item pricing it on there. Kind of
Yeah.
how do you handle that on your side?
So what we do is we will go in and we will itemize the
Hmm.
items that we want to price out.
Okay.
And for menu, we actually at the bottom here, let me show you.
Hmm.
This is a newer feature, but the summary of charges. So it breaks out your food, your rentals, all of that. So we let it price itself out down here. So we
Yes.
don't
Okay.
do itemized pricing throughout our proposals, but we do give them kind of a per person and a total sum at the bottom there.
Got it. So you are doing line item pricing, but you're not showing it to them as line item pricing.
Correct.
You're just
Yeah.
collecting all of that at the bottom. Okay, I gotcha. Okay, perfect. You know what? You said something yesterday and it really did light make I don't know, like I feel like what you're showing right now did align with that. But Casey, what I was talking to Casey yesterday before we were getting ready for our webinar, and Casey said that, and I quote, "We're really good at making our planners look really good." And I would totally say that's the truth. I mean, like your proposals look really great. About how long does it take you to kind of put together a quote? Just a general first initial kind of quote that you would send over to your customer.
I mean, depending on what they're looking for, but if it's a pretty, run of the mill, we're doing a wedding, we know the menu items we want to do. I mean, you
Yeah.
can see, I mean, just in a few minutes, like as we're clicking through everything,
Yes.
we can put it together. So just
Yes.
being thoughtful, some minutes really.
Yes. Okay. Yes, that's amazing. It does. I feel like the templates they go a long way with helping you really maintain a standard of proposals or like a standard of professionalism, but doesn't take the time, so you can still customize it or whatever, but you can maintain that standard. That's just like you were saying across them. What about like tips and tricks that you would show to a new employee? Do you have any like tips and tricks that you would show to them? Or like maybe best practices that your team has developed. I know you show the packages, which was really good. That is a newer feature. But
Mhm.
anything else like in the quote, any sort of like tips and tricks of what you would show to a new employee or some stuff maybe that your team
Sure.
has come up with?
This is also a feature that I think is really, really awesome is the
Hmm.
notes feature in here.
Hmm.
So because this is a web-based program and you can pull it up on your phone and you can pull it up on your laptop and on your desktop, like wherever you are on your tablet. It's really great for going on walkthroughs when you're on phone calls to put all of your notes for the event in here. So it time when we can create one right now, we can say this is, and then it will save it. And then, so you could say they wanted, wood chairs and pink linens, and you can put all of your notes in here. And you don't have to carry around a notebook. You don't have to carry on anything else. You can literally just have your phone and say, I'm taking notes on my phone, let your clients know as you're going through a walkthrough, and it'll all be here in your event. The client doesn't see this, so it's really, really great just to have it as a reference point. So then you can come back and make edits. We have a lot of our sales team too that will bring their computers and everything into like a tasting or client meeting and make real-time updates as they're talking to people through here and make notes in here while they're editing, because it's just kind of a pop out right here. So they can jump right back into the order, make edits, make notes. And it's just, the workflow is really, really great. It's really easy. It's streamlined kind of our whole operation, just because you're not jumping through so many screens. It's all just on one screen, which is fantastic.
It's so good. So good. Now, we whenever you were working on implementation. Oh, I guess I should say this. I forgot to say it at the beginning. If you do have any questions, we are going to do a Q&A section at the end. So as we kind of get to our wrap up, we are going to do some Q&A. So if you have any questions or anything that you would like Casey to answer, feel free to throw that into your chat, and that will come through towards the end. So just uh, feel free. Don't throw it in the Q&A, actually throw it into the chat so we can see those there. We're going to go back to that at the end so that Casey can answer some questions about their real operations and how they really use Curate. So looking back, after you guys implemented, so we talked about how you originally implemented with Taste VA. Now you're going back to implementing with Groovin Gourmets as well. Thinking about like what's the differences as you've kind of gone through this journey with Curate in particular? What kind of surprised you the most after implementing Curate? So as you've been going through that journey, what's kind of surprised you as you've gone through that journey?
I think just kind of the ease
Okay.
and how everything has kind of come together.
Hmm.
I will say that, something about being the sole person responsible for onboarding a whole new program and putting it all together, it's a little daunting.
Yeah.
Whereas this, like they're like right here. So let's say the chef sends one of our sales team this chimichurri beef sliders, and they're like, "Here's a new item. Like we think it's great. I made it specifically for this." And we're like, "You know what? We love it. We want it to be part of our catalog." It's as easy as the sales team, with permission. Of course, we have processes around this, but they can save it right to the catalog. Now it exists in the catalog. Now anybody can pull it. So now
Hmm.
I'm not the only one building this program out. It's our culinary team that's helping. It's our sales team that's helping, and we've set parameters and we say this is what we want it to look like, and then it kind of builds out from there, which has been
That's
really cool.
Yes. What about like time savings for your implementation? What's been not even just time savings, but what's kind of been the biggest savings, pre curate and after you've implemented curate? What has been some savings in your operations, whether it's time or otherwise?
Yeah, no, time, it's huge, huge savings. I mean, you guys see like how easy it is to kind of click and select how to put things in here. So it's really great. Our ability to turn around proposals that we know or feel very elevated to our clients, that's been a huge plus for
Yeah.
us. Just it's reliable, everything's consistent. It just paints a really pretty picture, and it really kind of stands for what the same things that we stand for. Like it translates, I guess.
Yes.
It helps translate our standards to our clients
Ooh.
for sure.
I loved how earlier you said I could finally go back to my real job. I
Yeah.
like whatever you weren't just working on like upkeeping the system all the time. You could just go back to your what your probably your passion is, your heartbeat is in the system rather than maintaining a system. It allows you to kind of have all of that together. Okay.
Yeah. And the
Um,
production documents have been really great for our teams and how those kind of work. It's been easy for them to kind of adapt to it just because they're really straightforward, and we had some flexibility so we can kind of pick and choose which things are important to which department. So we have production documents for our kitchen, for our beverage team, for our warehouse team. It's all kind of broken out, and then we can bring it all together in one large document for our on-site teams if we need to. So
could you show us an example here when we're on this case from this case in Devin's wedding? I don't know if
sure.
this is a good example for us to look
So
at.
yeah, over here, and this one isn't all. I'm gonna just warn everybody, it's not all the way like
Flesh out.
yeah, but I
Yeah.
will be happy to show you. So we there are a few that are kind of the program comes with, right? These kind of templates that we all start with. But we have some custom prints. So we do what we call a kitchen production sheet, and this is what our kitchen team utilizes. And so we are looking at um, all of our items in here. So those hibiscus flowers, this is how it's broken out. These components are what our expo team packs out on site because we do all our finishing on site. So we know that we need to pack out. So this is our per person. So one item per person, and we know we want 50 of each of these.
Mhm.
So because it's based off of 50 is the count that was put in there. So it scales it for you. So our expo is going to look for 50 1-inch pieces of chive and 50 hibiscus flowers. And this is how we're packing it out.
Okay.
Now, when you backtrack, so this is a good one for the flatbread for kind of one serving. This is what we're looking at. Um, so it kind of breaks it out like this. And again, this one isn't like
Okay.
fully fleshed out, but
Yeah.
because I kind of threw all these together just for this today.
Yes. Yes.
But you're gonna get the idea. So it's been just really useful and really clear on what the on-site expectation is and what our production kitchen does. So like for a salad, let's pretend like this is a tomato. So we know we want about 5 tomatoes per salad. So this would
Yeah.
be 5, and then that would scale. So then it would do 250. It's 5 times 50. Yeah, 250 tomatoes over here. So the kitchen would make 250 tomatoes, but on-site team would know, okay, per salad, when we're plating this up, I need 5 tomatoes. So it's a really easy way for it to do costing based
Mhm.
on the per person pricing, as well as, production for everybody. So it all comes together.
That's amazing. Yeah. I saw that we had a chat come through. They were asking about what drop downs did you choose for this. So if you click on that project details drop down, just to see on the right, yeah, like what did you choose? So okay, so I see you do have like location notes showing, and
Mhm.
on the production notes, I loved how you put the allergens centered like that. I think that that does really make it stand out. I am a big fan of the highlighting these days. We've recently implemented the highlighting, so I'm a big fan of that too.
The
Um,
team is wild about it. So it's great because they even down in like the recipe notes, like they're highlighting all the things that are super important that we make sure that we don't forget. So it's funny because they were asking for it from ever since we started working with you guys. They were like, we really want the highlights. When can we highlight? And you guys were amazing, and it made it a feature. And
yeah,
so it's utilized every day.
I love it. Now, what about the order details? Click on that drop down just so that people could see what do you have chosen, probably in the line items down there. What do you
Mhm.
chosen?
Oh, this one, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I love it. So you do have the two column layout. I feel like it's like there are two camps, the two column layout camp and
Yeah.
the one column, the non two column camp.
It's funny because every time I go to build out a new print,
Yes,
I look at it and because I think it's the BEO,
like burns your
in
eyes.
me that I'm like, I am so like I'm so familiar with it and I want it to work, but the teams here, we always ask them because we want them
Yeah.
to be a part of it. And
Yes,
they're like, just keep it single for us. But that works
column.
for us. But I'll show you the 2 column. Um,
Yes,
it just shrinks everything together. So I think there's definitely a place for this as well.
benefit. Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
it is funny. I feel like people, you are very clearly one or the other usually. You have a
Mhm.
very clear preference. Sometimes I'll say, "Oh yeah, you can click this," and people are like, "Ah!" It all comes together finally when it's a single column as opposed to being a two column. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's great. That was a great question. Yeah. Okay. So, we'll probably maybe continue sharing your screen because I have a feeling later we're going to have a few questions.
sure.
But before we dive into the questions, let's talk about your experience in that your real experience is making that transition. So I feel like I'm on the side where I see a lot of people that they've talked to a lot of companies and they have what they feel like a deceiving experience kind of going into it. And so it kind of jades them a little bit, it's just the world that we live in about utilizing softwares, actually what it's like to actually implement the software, things like that that can kind of go to that. So after kind of going through that sales process and then actually living in the software and utilizing it, do you feel like it really stacked up to what you were expecting in that process?
I mean, it did. So it wasn't, I won't say it was 100% smooth sailing. So when we
Yeah.
first started, we took all of our events that were caterees and migrated them all over. There were some challenges in that with caterees. I think we just had a lot of stuff in there because we built it
Yeah.
out in such a unique way. It didn't translate, it didn't come over right away.
Hmm.
I didn't really fully understand kind of how we wanted to use Curate. So I think that was also a bit of a challenge in the beginning and not being in it and kind of understanding its functionality. But once I learned that and we realized we wanted to utilize templates and like how we wanted to build everything out, it
Hmm.
made things a lot easier. So
Okay.
like taking the time in the beginning, like if I could go back and kind of redo that whole experience, I would
Mhm.
probably take the time, build out some events and understand like kind of what that looks like before I'm like, let's move everything over and like hope for the best.
Yes.
I was just really eager and excited. So
Yeah.
to be done with that program and moving into something that was much more user friendly.
Got
But yeah,
it.
so it was, but once we really got in there and understood like how it worked, it made it a lot easier. And then to continue to build on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you guys have been so great too. I will say, of all the other programs that I've used, you guys are real people on the other end. And I think I've talked to you more than I've talked to anybody in all of the other years that I've used all the other softwares. So
Oh, no, word.
but in a really, really great way. So, like when I need something or I have a question, you guys have been there to kind of explain things, walk me through things, or like, hey, let's try this. Have you thought about this? Which is something that a lot of these other softwares, they just don't offer at
Mm-hmm.
all. So,
Yeah.
I think that has really kind of played into our success in using this program and
Mhm.
continuing to evolve with this program. So, it's been just a really great experience overall.
I know that you have been really involved with like that feedback loop that we're constantly going through for our company is like we implement we build thin and we build fast. So we're implementing things fast and then we're kind of layering things on top of it. But the other side of that is we are really heavy on feedback from our customers and we document literally everything. So if you just type something in chat, if we feel like it's feedback about the software, it's going to our system. It's all going in there to be tracked and everything. But I know, Casey, you have been involved on a bunch of calls for just feedback and giving that feedback. And what's kind of been your experience with that, kind of helping with that product development loop?
I mean, you guys back what you say you're gonna do. So like it's been cool because like the highlighting, whether that was something you guys were working on or not, like it was great because I could put that in there and say, hey, this would be a really great feature. Can this happen? Is there any way can this work? And then you guys follow through and you're like, yeah, I think it can happen. And it's not like years later, it's not like at the annual like rollout, like all of a sudden there'll be new features. And I think there was a while where you guys were constantly pushing out new updates and it was like announcement. And it was like my favorite day. Like we'd get the email. I'm like, ooh, what is it? It was great because it meant the program was getting better. Again, we've been evolving kind of together and
Yeah.
it's been really, really awesome.
Yeah.
That summary of charges at the bottom, like I worked with you guys on that as well. And because that didn't used to exist in kind of that format and then all the flexibility with it. Like you guys really just take the feedback from your guys' clients and put it into like real life and make it happen. And it's again like no other software program, like software that I've ever worked with. So
Oh, I love it. I know that I mean, partially it has to do with me, but I'm just like, my heart's glowing. Okay, Casey. Okay. I love it. Okay. So last thing before we kind of go into the Q&A thing, I want to kind of loop back to your experience of being with Taste VA. It was acquired. Now you're kind of going backwards to implementing that, kind of getting them over from TPP into Curate. Um, um, how has that been going? How has that been like having this format and this setup for Taste VA, but then going back to like, okay, now I have to keep another operating system in my mind and try to help these people acclimate to the system and kind of merging those experiences. What has that been like?
I mean it's always challenging to learn something new. Change management is,
Yeah.
it's never easy or simple, but the teams here have really kind of taken to it. And it's kind of funny because I'll use our culinary team as an example. So they with TPP, the information given to like our kitchen is really like kind of this is the item. You don't get any more information about it. The on-site team, unless the sales team are putting in details like this is how I want my salad plated, they are
Hmm.
just kind of winging it and doing what they think they're supposed to do. So
Okay.
this has kind of taken all the guesswork out of it for our operation teams and said, this is exactly what we want. The sales team is setting the expectation with the client. And then it follows all the way through the entire operation to execution on site. So it's but they've taken to it because it really kind of it makes it easier for them. There's
Yeah.
no guesswork. It's all straightforward. It's right there for them. They follow what's on there and they know we're going to hit that mark every single time. And this has given them the tools to do that. So
Yes. I love that. I actually heard that like it's like building trust in that process. So trusting your team that they can do their job well and be really successful in producing the events that the salespeople want without having to just guess or have this tribal knowledge about how things should be, and then
mhm.
trust with your customers and with your planners as well. So I hear an increase of that in there as well. Yeah. Amazing. Okay. Well, we're going to take the last few minutes of our time together and we're going to talk about some some Q&A questions. So I did see one question in the chat um about showing your invoices. Let me see. Let me try to go back to it. I was just pulled it up. So for like whenever you're doing invoices, so they asked specifically about like a corporate's invoice. Do you treat the project as the invoice whenever you send it
Mhm.
to them, or do you build a separate invoice for them? How does
So
that
we
work?
have, yeah, so we have some clients that we do build a separate invoice for, but for the most part, we will message them and say,
Mhm.
hey, look, your final amount is posted in your portal. Check it out. You can pay right there. We've created a feedback form that they will fill out. So it's a template. It's an email template that they email right out of the portal. And it basically says, hey, check it out. Your final payment is in there. And then if you'd like, please fill out this feedback form for us. We always like to know how we're doing, something along those lines.
Yes.
And so then it's all kind of one and done there. And the feedback form has been great too, because then they can fill it out and it populates and then we can see how we're doing, know where we need to make improvements. Uh,
Yeah.
so it all just
I
comes
love that.
from the portal. Like
Yes,
it's
I
not,
remember that. Yeah, we didn't really talk about that so much, but I remember before talking to you about that, about how you don't want to immediately ask them for a review. You want to ask them for feedback. And then if they give
mhm,
good feedback, then you ask for that review. I was like,
yeah,
"Oh, that's so good." Yes,
yeah.
seems so simple, but it's such a great way of grabbing that personal improvement part, but then pushing that other one, pushing the um making sure that you're getting that good feedback to be public. Okay,
Mhm.
awesome. We did have someone ask if you can show us how to highlight on the back
Oh,
end.
sure.
It's so great. It's so easy.
So let's say in here, um, we're going to go here and we can highlight and mhm.
Sometimes it's
It wants to
go to item details. I don't know. Try to go flip over to item details up there
and
and
do
go
it
down to
here.
production notes. Yeah.
Oh, there that goes. Okay,
I
so
don't know
you
why it didn't
can,
go there, but we'll figure it out.
it usually does. It just got stage fright. It's
Yeah.
okay. So you have these
Me
different
too.
colors, and so you can note like allergens are one color. You can just let people highlight whatever color, you can do it for your sales team, whatever it may be. So we can do blue, um, and then we can highlight it, and then it highlights here. So then when I go to my print, I don't know if I have that selected. We're gonna see. Stand by. We can just go event overview. So this is the big one. There it is right here.
Yes.
So it's highlighted and so you can print in color and then it's all right there. So it's really
Mhm.
cool.
So good. Yeah, that has been such a great feature that we've updated to. Okay, I
And,
know sadly we are at time. Do you have another thing you want to talk about
oh, I
really
was
quick?
going to say there is an invoice in here that you can also use. We don't line item our pricing like that to our clients, but if you do, like it's a great option here that it's already built into the system.
Yeah.
So I know we just talked about that. So we were here.
Yes. Yes. Well, Casey, thank you so much for joining us. I love talking about your story and kind of what you've come from, and you have been such a great person to have on Curate. You give such good feedback with kindness. That really is for me as somebody who works on the customer success side. We love feedback, but we also love kindness, and you're such a good blend of those things. You can give feedback with kindness. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. We will send out this recording. So anybody, I know we had several people that joined a little bit later. We will send out the recording. So you're going to have it all in your inbox. Just keep an eye out for that email. So we will have a record of it if you want to go back and just review some things again. Feel free to send over more questions if you have some more questions, or if you want to take some time, if you're not currently a customer of Curate, and you want to jump on a call, I actually have, let me share my thing here, but we actually have a link where you can go and see the system in action for yourself, even try out your own account. Next month, we will be having a special webinar to celebrate our 1 millionth proposal. So this year, we're hitting two major milestones with Curate. It is our 10-year anniversary, and this next month will mark 1 million proposals having been made in the system, which is insane. So we're going to have a special webinar next month to celebrate. Whether you're a Curate customer or not, feel free to join. I think there's going to be some giveaways and things like that. So it's going to be a kind of a fun thing for us to join. But thank you all for joining us today. We'll send out that follow-up email. Thank you, Casey, so much for sharing your story with us and being so open with your account. A lot of people ask for it, but it's a little hard, but you did a great job showing that off today. All right. Thank you guys. We hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.